Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. I want to do a comparison between a cheap but very good fixed blade knife like the Morakniv and a more high-end knife like the Bark River Bravo 1 or the LT Wright Genesis. So this knife was one of the first fixed blades that I got that was I was really impressed by. This is a $16 knife. Okay, and I have beaten the crap out of it. It's a Scandi grind. Three of these knives are Scandi grind, and one is convex. So I don't know if you can really compare this, but Bark River does do a Scandi grind version of this. But why would you spend more than $16? Why would you spend more than $200 to get either one of these knives? And I wanted to give some reasons why or why not you would want to do that. This here is another Morakniv, but this is the Robust. I believe it comes in at $80. These will both be linked down below to Amazon. All Amazon links down below help my channel out just a little bit. I get a little bit of a commission off of those. I do not get a commission off of either of these. However, there are links down below for both of these as well. First off, what is a good fixed blade? Well, a good fixed blade is going to be a knife that you, especially with a Scandi grind, you're going to be able to process wood, do basic bushcraft, and maybe even do a little bit of cooking. And you're going to have a knife that isn't going to break like a folding knife when you put it through some more extreme use. Do these knives compare to these? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. This has a small tang. It's not a full tang. It has a plastic handle, and it goes to somewhere around here. Okay, and a tang is the piece of metal that runs from the blade all the way, or not all the way, through the handle. When you have a full tang, it's a little bit more strong and robust, and you can really whack on it. Like when you're batoning wood with it, it's gonna not break at all. Having said that, I have batoned with this little $16 knife or $12 knife, and it has been absolutely fine. The steel that they use on this is basically a high carbon Swedish steel, and it for all practical purposes is absolutely fine. And this guy, which comes in at $80, has a larger tang. And in fact, you can see the tang come out over here, but it's not. It is a full tang technically, but it doesn't. You don't see it through the scales of the handle. Okay, it's not as big of a tang. This one is a smaller tang. So overall, either one of these knives are going to be stronger. So why would you want to get something that's a little bit better? Well, not only do these cost a lot more, but these are both American made. These are Swedish made. These are handmade by Americans, so that's something. I root for the home team, although I obviously get knives that are built other places, and I'm fine with quality over country. But I do like, at the same time, to support the home team. The other things about this is that this spine here is a little bit rounded. It will throw a good spark on a ferro rod. This one is actually a sharpened, this Robust, for just a little bit more money, not a little bit more money, $80 versus $16, has a sharpened spine, and this will throw a great spark. This LT Wright knife is even sharper, if you can believe it. And you can kind of see the grind lines on that. And this just throws the best spark I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this is amazing. And the Bark River, has a little bit of a rounding on it. So it actually throws less of a spark than the Robust, but much better spark than the Morakniv. Another thing you should consider when you're buying a fixed blade is that this is kind of an entry level thing. And also, for this price point, you can have one of these sitting in your truck in the dash, in your glove box or wherever. And if you lose it, who cares? But you have a fixed blade on you all the time. I actually keep both of these knives next to my fireplace, and this is what I process wood when I'm making a fire in general. Because they're cheap, they're bangers, and I use the crap out of them. They're still both very sharp. However, this A2 tool steel and this MagnaCut is going to stay sharper longer, and they are both tougher than this steel. When you talk, the main reason why I like these knives, these two knives, over the cheaper versions is because of the ergonomics. They feel really nice in the hand, and they actually are a little bit more weighty because this plastic handle on both of these knives, it's just lighter feel. So when you're batoning or you're doing big crafty work with these knives, carving or whatever, feather sticking, it just feels better in the hand overall. The ergonomics on both of these Moraknivs are absolutely fine to a certain degree, and this one has a nice protection for your hand, but these have a little bit of protection as well, and they just feel naturally better in the hand. Okay, now is it worth more than 200? I would argue yes. And also because you get a chance to pick, like when you buy one of these higher end knives, you end up being able to pick the scales and the pins and a lot of different other things. This is a basic Bravo one, although it's with a high end premium steel like MagnaCut and this nice convex grind, which basically means it's rounded all the way to the tip. And so there's not a secondary grind. And whereas the Scandi grind here, you've got nice big flat and then a wedge up front, and this wedge up front goes down to a point that stays sharp forever. These knives also stay sharp forever because of the geometry. Geometry, in a way, means more than the knife steel that you choose to get with them. If you have a good geometry on a blade, it's going to stay sharp. It doesn't matter what the knife steel is to a certain extent. As long as it's okay knife steel, the geometry is going to carry the day. But if you use it forever and you're never sharpening it or stropping it, at the end of the day, something like an A2 knife steel or MagnaCut is going to stay sharper and going to be stronger and not shatter on you as much. So is it better to get, I don't know. All I do know is that if you're going to buy these in order, this is the order that I would buy these knives. If you're going to look into getting a fixed blade, go ahead and get the $16 guy. I suggest everyone has one of these. This is a phenomenal knife for the price and for everything that it does. Everyone needs a fixed blade like this with a Scandi grind, and this will introduce you to the Scandi grind, and it's a great choice. Next, I would say go ahead and get the Robust. It's bigger lengthwise. It has a nicer steel. It has a more full tang. You even has a butt here that you can hammer on if you're going to be trying to pry something apart. It's a great knife at $80. Absolutely phenomenal. And you can stop there and no one will ever know the difference, and you will have a good knife. If you want something a little bit nicer in the hand, you do a little bit more bushcraft and you go camping a lot, I would next suggest that you get the LT Wright over the Bravo personally. I like LT Wright a lot. I like these thumb scallops. I like the sharpened spine. This is just a great knife. I forgot one thing, and I'm just going to jump right in here in the middle of the video and say one thing that I forgot to mention is also the sheaths that these come with. So the sheaths for the Morakniv are just basic plastic sheaths. So this guy comes in here and it's absolutely fine, but it's very plasticky. But it does have a dangler, what I call a dangler here, and that is great for the belt. I actually like danglers over more of the fixed type stuff. And then the Morakniv is very basic. It doesn't really have a dangler, although it has a hard plastic dangler, and it's absolutely fine for keeping your knife in there. Whereas the LT Wright, I think, has the best sheath of all of these, and that one has a fire steel holder as well as the nice dangler here. These are really nice sheaths. And then finally, the Bravo comes with a standard Bark River knives holder, which I don't like just because it kind of looks awkward and full, but it works fine. It's not a dangler, but it fits on your belt very nicely. And, you know, it's very compact as far as lengthwise, but I wish that there was a little bit more geometry to the knife itself, to the sheath itself. All right, back to your regular scheduled program. And next, if you're going to be using this knife more overall, like for also prepping food and hunting and things like that, you might want to go with the Bravo instead, because the convex grind is very nice, although they do sell this as a Scandi too sometimes. So that's my basic take on, you know, a bargain basement fixed blade versus more of a high-end fixed blade. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. Do you guys own any of these? What do you think about trying to compare these? I don't know. Maybe I'm a fool. I just wanted to try to throw this out there. Thanks so much for supporting me. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can also become a Patreon member where we have free monthly giveaways every month. Only $3 to join, and there's a link down below. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye now.